With so many great games, these solid titles were kinda lost in time. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 forgotten video games from great developers. For more gaming videos, check out our new spin-off channel, Mojo Plays, for in-depth reviews, thoughtful video essays, detailed character origins, and insightful commentary. Mojo Plays, games smarter. For this list, we're looking at various video games that were developed by notable, respected developers, which have since been mostly forgotten. We'll only be including games from popular developers on this list. Forgotten games from long-forgotten developers will, unfortunately, be forgotten here. Number 10, MadWorld, Platinum Games. The Wii was a historic video game system known mostly for its family-friendly entertainment. Games like Wii Sports, Mario Kart Wii, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii flourished on the console, while more adult-oriented titles like MadWorld fell by the wayside. MadWorld was a hack-and-slash game with gallons of blood, and it received great reviews despite a whirlwind of controversy. The game was actually banned in Germany, and the director of Media Watch UK called for the game's ban in the United Kingdom. MadWorld basically failed to sell, and its failure resulted in Sega halting production on mature games for the Wii. Platinum Games has since moved on and developed many respectable titles, including but definitely not limited to the Bayonetta series, Vanquish, and Nier Automata. Number 9, Parasite Eve, Squaresoft. Squaresoft, now known today as Square-Enix, is a very notable Japanese game developer, famous for many timeless and classic games like the Final Fantasy series, Chrono Trigger, and of course Kingdom Hearts. They released a fantastic game in 1998 though, called Parasite Eve, a game which provided players with a unique blend of action, role-playing, and survival horror. It was compared favorably to Resident Evil and was praised for its attention to detail and cinematic gameplay. It was even considered a part of the J-horror phenomenon of the late 90s and early 2000s, alongside movies like Ringu, aka The Ring, and Ju-on the Grudge, also known as The Grudge. And while these movies are still discussed, everyone seems to have forgotten about poor old Parasite Eve. Number 8, Disruptor, Insomniac Games. Insomniac really hit their stride in 1998 with their second release, Spyro the Dragon, and never relented through the following decades, continuing with the Spyro series while releasing follow-up classics like Ratchet & Clank and Resistance. However, no one seems to remember their first game, a little title called Disruptor. Disruptor was a first-person shooter, complete with fantastic graphics, strategic gameplay, and amazing weapons and abilities in the form of psionics. At a time when everyone was trying to be Doom, Disruptor tried something a little different, disrupting the market, and it deserves to be respected and remembered far more than it is. Number 7, Sunset Riders, Konami. We don't think we have to remind you who Konami is. I mean, it's freaking Konami. Well, they've been in the news lately. Anyway, one game that seemingly fell through the cracks in their library, though, is 1991's Sunset Riders. Sunset Riders was a side-scrolling arcade game which saw you controlling a bounty hunter in the Wild West, and we really mean super Wild West. Even amongst the myriad of cooperative side-scrollers on the arcade market, Sunset Riders stood out through its sense of humor, exciting shooting mechanics, and awesome set pieces. When it comes to remembering great arcade games, Sunset Riders deserves a lot more recognition. Number 6, Armored Core, From Software.
Time over. Combat halted.
Today, From Software is known for their brooding, mythic, and challenging games, specifically the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne. While those games are fantastic, fewer people know of Armored Core, a mech-based third-person shooter. Armored Core was released in 1997 and didn't make much of a splash, at least not in Western markets. Its follow-ups, Project Phantasma and Master of Arena, weren't even released in Europe. Armored Core isn't like From's other games, which really hasn't helped its recognition, because it's a fast-paced, arcade-style mech combat game, not a dark and dreary nightmare. That said, it was arguably the most fluid and fun combat system around at the time, so it's a shame it never receives any attention anymore. Number 5. The Lost Vikings, Blizzard Entertainment. The Lost Vikings is a fantastic little puzzle platformer developed by Silicon and Synapse, who you may now know as Blizzard Entertainment, developers of famous games like World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and Overwatch. Yeah, they've been somewhat successful. The Lost Vikings is a side-scroller in which you must alternate between 3 Vikings and use their respective abilities to reach the end of the level. It had a hint of that classic Blizzard challenge while remaining accessible and fun, and the humorous personalities of the Vikings made playing as them highly enjoyable. I guess it's no StarCraft, but if you had an SNES, this game was great. Number 4. The Warriors, Rockstar Games. The Warriors really shouldn't have worked. It was a relatively simple brawler at a time when Rockstar was creating massive and complex titles like San Andreas, and it was based off a really old movie which not many people had heard about. But come on, this is Rockstar we're talking about here, right? They could probably make a game about staring at a brick wall seem fun. The Warriors perfectly captured the zany, stylized tone of the movie, the gameplay was varied enough to remain fresh throughout, and the combat system was surprisingly deep and well thought out. Rockstar aficionados look back fondly on it, while everyone else goes, huh?
What about you? You ready? Let's do it.
Number 3. Dino Crisis, Capcom. Once Resident Evil changed the face of third-person and survival horror video games, suddenly everyone wanted in, and a host of clones found their way onto the market. But perhaps were none as good as Dino Crisis, and that's because Capcom, specifically Shinji Mikami, served as its developer, so it's not really a copycat, it's just, spin-off. Dino Crisis was basically just Resident Evil with fast dinosaurs, but, that's meant to be a compliment. Capcom had both captured the magic of their earlier title and updated it with faster gameplay and more modern graphics. Now, while Resident Evil has gone on to bigger and better things, we look back at its younger, less successful sibling with fondness and a bit of respect too. Number 2. Oni, Bungie. Oni serves as Bungie West's only title, and it was a really good game which blended third-person shooting with complex hand-to-hand combat. While some aspects of the game were definitely criticized, including the absence of land-based multiplayer and very terrible AI, many facets were still praised, including the animations and the unique blend of genres in the combat system. However, Oni was basically overshadowed from day one. Bungie was busy drumming up interest for a little game they were developing called Halo, and very few people cared for whatever this Oni crap was. To make matters worse, Halo was released only 10 months after Oni, effectively ensuring that it would never be something Bungie would be remembered for. Number 1. Jade Empire, BioWare. BioWare was the developer to beat in the 2000s. They were pumping out classic after classic, including Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age Origins. And then, plopped right in the middle of Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect was a brilliant game called Jade Empire. Jade Empire was an Xbox exclusive, which was later ported to the PC, set in a world influenced by Chinese mythology. It was a fantastic RPG which featured rich graphics, an immersive story, and a complex combat system, easily making it one of 2005's greatest games. Unfortunately, Jade Empire faded away into obscurity once Mass Effect barreled onto the scene. Everyone, including BioWare, basically never looked back.
You had no way to know what would happen.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.